Developing this morning, another round of powerful storms is drenching the already waterlogged South.
I just saw water, acres and acres of water.
The Weather Authority is breaking down how it will impact your day. From close confidant to key witness, former Trump fixer Michael Cohen is expected back on the stand today. His firsthand account of the deal at the center of the former president's criminal case. Dramatic video. Explosions breaking up the monumental bridge collapse in Baltimore. A look at what could take its place once demolition wraps up. Deal Day, just hours from now, we'll finally learn how much taxpayers might end up paying for the Stadium of the Future. Steps that need to happen first before a single dollar is spent. Plus, new this morning, results from the first long-term study on the popular weight loss drug, Wegovy. The answer to a question a lot of people are asking: what happens when you stop taking it? On this Tuesday, May 14th, 2024.
Live from the local station, the morning show starts now.
More than 5 million people are under flood watches this morning, stretching from Texas to Florida, as another round of storms is expected to hit today. And this new video this morning shows what looks like a tornado forming in Missouri. A golfer, in fact, recorded the video on a cell phone. Look at how big it is. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for choosing us this morning. A tornado watch has been issued for our area until 1 o'clock this afternoon.
So the reason we have to say it looks like a tornado is because it has to be confirmed by the National Weather Service, but there's little doubt. So, Katie, there is some nasty weather that's out to our west, and this is a weather impact day because what's to our west is headed our way right now. Expect a wave of storms to move in.
That's absolutely right. We've seen a total of 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. One has just expired, and I want to show you, yes, as Jen mentioned, our entire viewing area under a tornado watch until 1 o'clock. We have these severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, the issue with this tornado watch is that one of these severe thunderstorms, should they form, could hold the potential for tornadic activity within it. So we've seen a lot of lightning total strikes so far, 97. As we zoom in here, I do want to show you this warning goes until 7:30 for Valdosta, Charter Oaks, Country Club Estates. If you're in these areas, the Tillman area, Barco Village, Dasher, Newsom area, the Randy, Del Mar, and Monks Creek area. Also, we've got another couple of areas that are seeing some heavy rain, Academy Acres up here toward Indianola. And so with that, some heavy rain and of course some lightning associated with it. The warning that we had right here headed toward Pineland has expired. That was set to expire at 7 a.m. and it did so. We're looking at this warning up here though toward the Weathers area and the Bamberg area. All of this leading into the Needmore area, the Colon area, the Ernest area, Williamsburg, Vickers Crossing, and Fargo. You're next. So we're going to see if a warning comes into fruition for you because that's where some of that heavier rain is. Zooming out, you get a better look at this system, where it is, what it's producing. A lot of heavy lightning, wind, and rain for the time being. But as far as Jacksonville goes and the coast, you will see this, but it may be just a little later in the morning for you. So zooming down, we'll keep an eye on everything. Now, I do want to continue to show you your hour by hour quickly because that line, the first line anyway, will be out of here by about 10 o'clock. You get a little break into the afternoon. The second line, though, comes in by about 3 o'clock, lasting well into the overnight hours. Different areas, different times, but this particular system is with us through midday tomorrow. So we are nowhere near done. Our team of meteorologists has you covered, but because a lot of this is going to happen overnight, I do want you to download our Weather Authority app so that when you're sleeping, you'll be woken up if a watch or a warning, particularly a warning, comes your way. More on the weather all throughout the morning.
All right, Katie, so the heaviest downpours are forecast from southeastern Louisiana to western Florida, which is where they are right now. And you know, Tallahassee was insulted a couple of days ago. Did the story about people who couldn't get out of their neighborhoods.
With so much flooding. So between 3 and 6 inches of rain has already fallen in the last 36 hours, and upwards of 3 inches per hour is expected today in some areas. Amy Kiley reports that the rainfall could affect the nation's food supply.
Heavy downpours and flooding continue to plague parts of the U.S. Today, a deadly storm system is pushing through the Gulf Coast. These New Orleans area residents have sandbags ready after filling them yesterday.
People like to go by too fast, and it pushes water up in my garage in the house. So we put sandbags out in front to keep that from happening.
Even some places that are dry today have lingering weather problems.
Water. I just saw water. Acres and acres of water.
About an hour east of Nashville, some farmers say their crops are suffering.
Everything we do relies on Mother Nature, and sometimes she's not so cooperative.
One issue is fruit with flood damage. Another is wheat that strong winds have flattened. The farmers say the damage could affect U.S. food availability.
What's happened is so devastating. You see this wheat standing here, and then on this side over here, you see where it's blown down. You see it's nearly on the ground.
In Iowa, the Farmers Union says it welcomes rain after years of drought, but storms have put production behind schedule.
We've had about 3.5 inches over the last 2 weeks, so we've been out 17 days.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
On to other news. Donald Trump's former attorney and the man they called the fixer, Michael Cohen, expected back on the stand today for more dramatic testimony in the former president's criminal trial.
Cohen is considered the prosecution's most important witness, offering an insider's account of the payments at the center of the case. Melanie's joining us now. And Mel, Cohen also faces intense questions from Trump's attorneys who've painted him as a liar.
All right, so Cohen did say that he wanted to ensure that things were being taken care of properly and that Trump would be protected. He says it was just part of his job.
Michael, what do you have to say to Donald Trump?
Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer and fixer, and now star prosecution witness, finally took the stand in former President Donald Trump's criminal trial. He is considered the only witness who can directly implicate Trump in the alleged crimes.
We paid a lawyer a legal expense. It's marked out in the book, quote, legal expense. It's perfectly marked down.
Prosecutors say Cohen paid off adult film star Stormy Daniels on Trump's behalf to kill her story.
I did it at the direction of, in concert with, and for the benefit of Donald J. Trump.
Cohen testified about notifying Trump after learning Daniels was planning to sell her story, saying that the impact on the campaign would be catastrophic. Cohen said Trump was angry at him for not having this under control and told him to stop this from getting out. Cohen said Trump directed him to try and stall Daniels from releasing it until after the election, recalling Trump saying, because if I win, it will have no relevance because I'm president, and if I lose, I don't even care. When Cohen brought up Trump's wife, Melania, Cohen says Trump told him he claimed Trump was not thinking about his wife, Melania. This was all about the campaign. Cohen reached a $130,000 deal with Daniels' attorney to kill the story. And ultimately, a few weeks before the election, Cohen had to front the money himself. But before heading to the bank, Cohen said he had 2 phone calls with Trump to, quote, ensure that once again he approved what I was doing because I require approval from him on all of this, end quote. Prosecutors show the jury call logs to back up Cohen's recollection. Cohen testified about this in front of Congress in 2019.
Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being traced back to him that could negatively impact his campaign.
He served 3 years in prison and home confinement for crimes including federal campaign finance violations related to that payoff. Cohen is expected to be on the witness stand for several days. Trump has again denied any wrongdoing in this case. Bruce, Jen.
Thank you, Mel. 6 swing states could swing the pendulum in the presidential election. Now, right now, Florida's not one of those swing states, but with the abortion issue looming large on the ballot in November, it could sway voters' opinions and swing Mr. Biden's fortunes, especially since the polls show a very tight race. That's why Florida may play a more crucial role than many believe. Political analyst Daniel Cronrath joins me today at 10:30 and again at 7 p.m. for Vote 2024 Path to the Polls on News4JAX Plus. Talk about those topics and more, or watch on demand when it's convenient for you anytime on News4JAX Plus, the News4JAX YouTube channel, and News4JAX.com. The United States is calling on Iran to halt its transfer of an unprecedented amount of weapons to Yemen's Houthi rebels. The U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the UN says the weapons enabled the fighters to carry out reckless attacks on ships in the Red Sea. The The U.S. also argues the shipments violate UN sanctions. The Houthis have launched more than 50 attacks since November, even seizing one ship and sinking another. A U.S.-led airstrike campaign in Yemen has led to a recent drop in attacks, though the Houthis warn they will expand the scope of their targets.
We are getting a first look at the new design of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. These concepts from an Italian design firm show a wider span with improved clearance to minimize the chance of collision. Now, demolition began yesterday on a large section of the bridge. Crews are using explosives to make precision cuts to split the bridge into smaller pieces. Smaller pieces will be easier to remove than with cranes and barges. Reporter Meredith Wood explains once the pieces are removed, the cargo ship that hit the bridge will then be refloated and guided back to port.
Sitting stagnant for nearly 7 weeks, demolition is now underway to free the 213 million-pound dolly cargo ship from underneath the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge.
There's a tremendous amount of steel that was removed from the dolly.
The ship veered off course and struck a pillar on the bridge, plunging it into the river on March 26th. 6 construction workers died. The final victim was recovered from the water just last week.
Please know that we will do everything in our power to honor those that you've lost.
Despite the demolition process, including controlled explosions, the 21 members of the ship's crew who have not left the vessel since it struck the bridge will remain on board during the operation.
We've gotten to this point without a single injury. We plan on continuing this mission without a single injury.
Officials say the demo process to free the ship will be swift.
We will refloat the dolly and remove the dolly in approximately 2 days.
Also in 2 days, the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is set to hold a hearing reviewing and examining the federal response to the collapse.
Those who need to be held responsible for this tragedy will be held responsible.
The NTSB has not yet released its preliminary report into the incident, which typically comes about a month after the investigation begins. I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
Now, a 16-year-old is facing charges in Louisiana after police say he walked into a church full of children armed with a rifle.
Parishioners stopped him before anything happened, but this did cause quite the panic. It was all live streamed during a Saturday service.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray.
See people in the front row taking their children out, and watch what happens here as members of the clergy dip behind the altar, taking cover. It's going to happen here in just a second. There they go, dropping to their knees. People near the back door to the church took the teenager outside where police in tactical gear arrested him minutes later. That video is coming up in just a second. Again, there's that teenager. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but 60 children were inside for their first communion. Now, the teenager was taken in for a mental health evaluation, then charged with terrorizing and 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a juvenile. U.S. airlines are suing to block the Biden administration from requiring greater transparency concerning fees that carriers charge passengers. They argue new rules would confuse consumers by giving them too much information during the ticket buying process. Those rules would require airlines and travel agents to disclose upfront any charges for baggage and canceling or changing a reservation. Now, airlines must show the fees on the first website page where they quote a price for a flight. The Department of Transportation says it will vigorously defend the rule against what it calls junk fees. The agency estimates the change will save consumers more than $500 million each year. Among the nation's 6 biggest airlines, Southwest is the only one that is not part of this legal challenge. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill will soon join other notable public universities that have stripped diversity spending, such as the University of Florida. The UNC board voted to divert $2.3 million in diversity spending to public safety and policing instead. That decision could result in the loss of the school's diversity office. Change set to take effect July 1st. It is unclear how many jobs would be impacted.
The NFL season is a little more than 4 months away, and we're now learning which teams will kick off the season. The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will open the regular season at home against the Baltimore Ravens on September 5th in a rematch of the AFC title game. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 17-10, you may remember, in the AFC championship game back in January, and they went on to defeat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime during the Super Bowl. Now, the Chiefs are favored to win the opening season rematch by 3 points. points, according to a leading sports book. Now, the league also announced the Cowboys will be in Cleveland on September 8th. And that will also be the broadcast debut of Tom Brady, who is signed on to provide commentary for Fox. Brady retired before last season after winning 7 Super Bowls. Now, the NFL will release the full season schedule tomorrow night. The Jags shared this picture on social media. It says, Jags 95 coming May 15th, 2024. The art appears to be based on the new Disney Plus series, X-Men 97. And we'll have to wait to see how that relates to the team's announcements tomorrow night. And the WNBA season officially tips off tonight with 4 games. The New York Liberty starts its season against the Washington Mystics at 7. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever take on the Connecticut Sun at 8. The games will be broadcast on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. Plus, the back-to-back champion Las Vegas Aces face off against the Phoenix Mercury. That's at 10. The game will also be broadcast on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. Also at 10, the Minnesota Lynx will go against the Seattle Storm. This is the first season WNBA teams will have chartered flights to games, by the way. Here's video posted on social media of Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever flying to Connecticut for their game tonight. While Caitlin Clark is starting her professional career, her college coach is ending hers. Yeah, Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball coach Lisa Bludder is now retiring after 24 years. She announced her retirement yesterday with a letter on the school's athletic website. She says she thanks every player that played for the Hawkeyes and all of the fans.
ExactTrack 4D constantly scans for new threats in your neighborhood, alerting you faster than ever when severe storms are heading your way.
So we could have some impactful weather right on through tomorrow morning's commute.
Yeah, and Katie is here with a closer look at the timeline. We touched on this just a little earlier, but it is worth re-mentioning.
It is. We've got 3 severe thunderstorm warnings right now, and this is a system that's going to move, potentially break up a little bit, but this is one of 3 rounds. So we're going to have to watch it carefully. Let's get you right outside now, and you'll see where those severe thunderstorm warnings are. Actually, while I was standing at the desk, one of those warnings expired, which is actually right on time. It was set to expire by 7:15, but we've got 2 more here that go until 7:30 and 7:45. So we're going to continue to watch those. I'll be checking those timelines as they do tend to fluctuate, but the entire area is under a tornado watch until 1 o'clock this afternoon. So really, really imperative that you download the Weather Authority app, especially because the 3rd round of these showers and storms are going to happen overnight. So you can't see much, and I want you to be caught up in knowing if a watch or a warning pops up, particularly a warning there for you. So look at this and you'll see that Valdosta, you'll be improving soon. The rain will be out of your area before you know it. Zooming down, we've still got some rain in the East Wind area, the Academy Acres area, and as we move on over here, the Needmore area, you're in one of the spots where we're seeing the majority of that rain and some lightning right now. Total lightning strikes 21, that's down from 92, so the lightning is starting to digress a little bit there. Nonetheless, we will see lightning throughout the day as this system, you could see the distinct line, pushes through our area. This will continue again until the latter part of the morning. Then we get a break this afternoon, and then we see another system start to come through between 2 and 3 o'clock. Zooming down, Jacksonville, you are dry for the time being, but that will not last. You will certainly see some of that rain come your way just a little bit later. So let's see what we've got here on our hour by hour, because we're going to continue to watch this as it comes through 8 a.m. Brunswick, Fernandina Beach, Jacksonville, into Gainesville and St. Augustine. And then all of that moves through by about 10 a.m. You think you're done, but you are not done. You will see the second system come in by about 3 o'clock this afternoon, make its way through, and it just doesn't stop there. Once that makes its way through into this evening by about 7 o'clock, all the way through the overnight hours, you see that rain and those storms come in. Heaviest around midnight from Lake City down through I-10, and then it's going to continue to push through here and impact Jacksonville from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. So, of course, we'll be with you on air and online as these showers and storms make their way through. The problem is that with the severe threat, there's a chance that some of these particular severe storms could hold the ingredients for some tornadic activity. So that's something we're watching. So today and tomorrow are impact days, and then we'll be back in the 90s with sunshine for Thursday, and then back in the 80s we go with rain for 4 days after that. So it's a messy forecast, but we'll get you through it.
Now, here is your time saver traffic.
All right, good morning to you. Let's take a look at some areas that I'm following. 95, this is a look at MLK. There is a crash at 95 near 8th Street. That camera is not working for me, so this is the closest camera I can get for you. 95 South to be exact, at 8th Street is where there is a crash on the shoulder. It's not causing too much of a delay for you this morning, but it's still something that you should be aware of. Make sure you give that area plenty of space. Also following a crash on JTB. Keep that in mind. It's near Hodges. It should be in the clearing stages because the delays are getting light. Here's how things are doing in St. Johns County. Pretty good. 95 and US 1, smooth ride for you. A look at your drive times here on I-10 from downtown to 295. You're looking at a 5-minute ride on the westbound side. I-10 East from 295 to downtown is 10 minutes. That's a look at your time saver traffic.
AI could help you buy time and plan your day.
That's right. A security expert's going to join us, though, to discuss protecting your personal information when using AI, in case you are concerned. And PFAS have been found in milk that you may drink. The risk and the steps that you can take to minimize your exposure to what they're commonly referred to as forever chemicals, and they can be cancer-causing.